The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Get up to £500 refunded as real money for new Jeff Banks online accounts after your first month of betting. Use promo code FFP500 at jeffbanks.bet. And by BetterHelp. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Our listeners get 10% off your first month. So give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/FURLONG.
Welcome to the show. On a brave new world, the American people have spoken, and we must respect the rights of the American viewers and the American listeners. We all told them, they heard the propaganda, they heard the hype, but they made their democratic choice. In their opinion, City of Troy just ain't that good. And we just have to accept that, and that's the way it is. Welcome to the weekend preview. It's Emmet Kennedy alongside Peter Michael and Andy Newton as we preview the best of the weekend's action. We're going to begin with the 205 at Aintree. It's the Boylesports Choose Wisely Handicap Chase, and by choose wisely we mean Jeff Banks, because he's going 15-8 about Imperial Saint. Coast Guard Station 7-2. Hunter Legend for Venetia Williams 7-2 shot, and Jack Holiday around about an 8-1 shot. Some interesting horses in this race. Venetia Williams won this race a year ago. Is she going to be winning it again, though? Peter Michael.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're at a tricky time of the year for the punters because you don't know what's turning up at what level of fitness and this and that. So I'd advise everyone to be treading carefully for this month anyway. But in saying that, in this race, I think this race is going to be run at a pretty fast pace, lads. You have numerous front runners that just like to go from the front, and I don't really think any of them will stay there. You have Jack Holiday, El Baracho, Magistrato. They like to go from the front, as is the favourite, Imperial Saint. And sometimes I think Grey Diamond has been let go from the front as well in one or two runs. So I'm expecting a pretty fast pace in this race, and that is exactly what Coast Guard Station needs. And he's got fitness on his side. He's ran twice last month. So fitness is no issue for him. Rarely runs a bad race. I think he's ran, what is it I have written here, 24 times. And he's been in the top 14 times. And a fast pace is absolutely crucial to this horse. And he's going to get a fast pace tomorrow, on Saturday. Normally, I'd be looking for horses that like to race prominent in Aintree, but I don't think these prominent races are going to last this race out. The pace are going to go, and I don't think they're any great shakes either. Coast Guard Station is, a very likeable horse. You could argue he doesn't win as often as he should have, but he normally always gives his running, and I think this race could fall into his lap. I don't know what price he is with Jeff. He was 8-1 when I looked at it earlier. I've seen he's gone in now a bit. I would nearly say he's an each way bet to nothing, so he'd be the one I'd be going for each way, and I think he could, get there in the bridle and hopefully have enough off the bridle to put it to bed.
As we record, Jeff Banks is going 5-1 about Coast Guard Station, who runs for Henry Oliver. He's won this race twice in the last 10 years. He's a 4-time winner at the Trip, and 5 times he's backed up for a run in quick succession between 15 and 25 days. He's won twice, placed twice. I like him a lot. Andy, what about you?
Yeah, well, it could be a clean sweep, actually. I mean, I'll be amazed if the winner doesn't come from the first sort of 3 in the market here. Imperial Saint, Hobbs Camp going quite well. It's the only course of distance winner in the field. It's up £4 for its last win at Aintree, though. But don't know, for me, it just ran with a bit of a high head carriage that day. So that
he was a lucky winner too, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. And I don't know. I just wonder whether that might just catch up with it with the £4 as well. It looks a sort of slightly tougher race. Hunter Legend, we don't know really. As you say, Venetia won it last year. It's obviously on the up. It's up in grade. It won very easy last time at Bangor, but that was back in March, wasn't it? So it's coming back off for 230 odd days layoff. So it could be anything really. The yard are showing little glimpses of form. Had a few winners this week and last, so that's a plus. Gets loads of weight off the other two as well. But yeah, I think that run at Cheltenham last time for Coast Guard Station, it's down a couple of pounds. Only sort of just got run out of it, didn't it, in the last sort of, I don't know, just up the hill, just after the last. So I think it's a good run, really. I think on a flatter track, it will suit here. As you say, Henry's won it a couple of times in the past. And yeah, I just think of the three, Coast Guard Station, but you can make cases for the full, all of them really at the top of the market. But yeah, could be a Coast Guard clean sweep, boys. I think this one's first race.
I do like Imperial Saint. I think he was fortunate to win the other day, but he'll improve second run off a layoff, or at least he should. The Hops team have had winners. I was on TalkSport 2 yesterday, and they had a nice novice hurdler winning. But he's just very short at 9-4, especially top weight. So
12 stone.
It was top weight at 12 stone, and is he that much clear of everybody else? I don't know that he is. His RPRs are improving for his last 3 starts, and I'm sure he'll come on for the run. But 9-4, no thanks. Coast Guard Station was on the list. Now that you two boys have given him such a confident vote, I'm in.
Well, I think pace is key to him. That's why I'm keen on him here. If there wasn't much pace, I wouldn't be. He's often looked as if he was going to win, but the pace hasn't been fast enough for him to be able to win. But he's definitely going to get that on Saturday, because they're going to go hell for leather in this one.
Okay. Imperial Saint definitely on the play spot ticket, and might very well be on the scumbag combination Lucky 63 ticket, but Coast Guard Station absolutely first preference. Let's go to the second race at Aintree, a day of Premier Racing as they go over the Grand National fences, except for the fact that it's not a Premier Racing fixture. It's in the Premier Race window, but it's not a Premier Racing fixture. They think we're all idiots. The betting is headed by Venetia Williams, Ferrero Bamboo, Charlie Deutsch on board 13-2. Same now for percussion. King Turgeon has come in for a good bit of support with Jeff Banks. 7-1. Jack Tudor on board for the informed David Pipe. Second run after a wind up, eligible to improve. Second run off a layoff as well. But who is Peter Michael with?
Well, there's 13 runners here. 9 of them are running for the first time this season. So it's quite a hard race to try and study and analyse, because you don't know what level of fitness they're turning up at. It's a big enough race. It's the Grand Sefton. The winner's getting close to 40 grand. So most of them will be fit enough to do themselves justice. But you can only back something, without knowing how fit they are, which I don't at this point in time. I have to go for something that has proven fitness. And King Turgeon is the one I'm going to put forward in a very trappy race. He's a front runner, which I think is always more suitable over these fences and horses held up for obvious reasons. He won last time. He won by 10 lengths. He's up £9 for that. If he can get out to the front, which I think he will, and if he can get jumping well and get into a rhythm, he could run a big race. But there'd been, I think there's definitely better horses in this race than him. And going forward from this race, he wouldn't be a horse I'd be keeping on side. Whereas there might be a few others in this race I might keep on side going forward. But just because we're trying to find the winner on the day, I'm going to put him forward with fitness advantage, and he goes from the front as a small each way fancy.
Second highest rated on time form. We are getting a pretty decent price about him right now. Is Andy with him, or do you have something else in mind?
No, I don't know. It'd just be the age for me, 6-year-old. Obviously gets in with a very lightweight. But really, you want 14 of the last 18 have been aged 8 or 9 in this. Course form has been another big asset. 13 of the last 19. Obviously, Nichols has got a great record in it as well. So a lot of people are going to be drawn to Outlaw. Peter comes back from a wind up. This one here as well, but it's only had 7 runs over fences, so that would be the slight worry for me.
Isn't it? This is from memory, isn't it? Something like 9 or 10 chase starts is the average for a winner.
Yeah, I'd have to double check that. I haven't got the other stats up here, but it's something like that. I mean, look, like I say, 13 of the last 19 have actually run at Aintree, and like 6 have tasted the Grand National fences before as well. So that would be the slight worry. And I think even though it came second last time out back in, I think it was, I don't know, it must have been April or something like that last year at Sandown. If you watch that race back, I mean, it probably would have been third. There was a faller in it as well. So it sort of nabbed second by default. So I think Outlaw Peter, going to put a line through that. I'd like to see Short Touch do well for my old mate Matt, who runs the GG site. Won the plate, I think, at Market Raising in the summer. So that could go well for him. Look, Percussion is going to be the old PP banker, isn't it? Absolutely loves these fences. I think its record here is 3.323. Came second in this last year. It's only £1 higher. So, if you are playing with a play spot Aintree, that's got to go in. It should be there or thereabouts. Late Night Pass, another one coming back from a wind dot, but 11 years old now. But another one that will like the course and had experience in it. Obviously ran the national, 12th in the national last time. But I think the two that I'm going to sort of side with are, well, the first one, the Venetia horse, which I think's been backed. It might be favourite now. I'm not sure.
I have breaking news on that for you.
Is it favourite? No.
The boiler room at Jeff Banks Bet are listening. They heard what Peter had to say, and they cut him from 7s to 5s instantly.
Really? That's favourite now.
They must have made a mistake. They're probably trying to push him out after I said that.
5-1 King Turgeon, 5-1 Short Touch.
Yeah, 5-1's a ridiculous price, to be honest, for a race like that.
Ferrero Bamboo is 7-1 shot.
Ferrero Bamboo, yeah. I mean, I think that is. I mean, it was third in the race last year. Down £3 for that. It ran 6 in the plate at the festival as well. I mean, it might want the ground a tad softer, but look, it only gets in here with 10 stone 5. As I said before, I think Venetia's horses, there's a few signs they're running into form. So, we know it's going to be okay over the fences. So that's definitely one for the shortlist. And then the other one, I mean, the yard that took this last year, the Greenall and Guerrero camp, they won this, and they've got this Gabor Rio that's running. It's a bit further down at the market, probably about 10-1. Another one with a super lightweight, 10 stone 2. It was going okay in the Fox Hunters until it unseated at the Canal Turn back in April. So has tasted the fences. All right, look, being unseated probably isn't ideal, but it's come back, bounced back since then. It's won a couple of Hunter chases. It's gone well off a break in the past. As I say, the yard won this last year. Henry Brook was on board as well last year, and he gets the leg up as well. So I'm going to go with those two, I think, against the well-backed Peter Michael horse.
Well, look, that Gaborio, as you said, I think he's a nicely handicapped horse of 127. I just don't know if tomorrow would be his day, but I couldn't put anyone off him either. But when I was previewing it, I said there's a few for the future that I'd have my eye on. He'd be one of them as well going forward.
I mean, it's like looking back, if it runs off a break, 144 days came out 1. Last season, 77 days came out 1. Beat Windsor Avenue at Catterick. So I'm not worried too much about the layoff personally.
I'm swinging for one at a big price. Authorised Art. Second in a Galway plate. Massive upgrade going from that has-been Willie Mullins to the Gary Moore yard. You can expect huge improvement. Oh, wait, are we getting Patrick Mullins back on the show? I mean, oh no. You do. He's just too big a price. He's 25s. He's had a spin round behind Rubad, who we'll talk about in a few minutes. That was over an inadequate trip over the smaller obstacles. He'll step forward for that second run off a layoff. He's bound to improve. He's a 25-1 shot with some really, really good form in this race. Yeah, he's got a big weight, but 4 big weights have won this race in the last 10 years. And a 25-1 with major question marks over everything. I will take a right old stab at Authorised Art for the Gary and Josh Moore team, who are going well. We'll switch to the flat. For the final day of the flat season, kind of. It's just so weird that we have like Champions Day and the big Ferrari around that. And then, oh yeah, by the way, you still got the Futurity. And there's also the November. It just kind of goes out with a bit of a whimper in the end. The betting for the Virgin Bet Irish EBF Gillies Fillies Stakes listed race is 3-1 Godolphin's Diamond Rain, 15-8 Danielle for John and Thady Gosden, Kieran Schumark on board. And the betting has disappeared about the rest of them, but the rest don't count really. It's between these two. So which of the two of them is going to go and win? Peter Michael.
Well, yeah. What do we have there? It's a 12-runner field. Chances are it is between the top two, but there's one or two others there that might outrun their odds. But, well, out of the top two, I'd be leaning towards Diamond Rain. I love her. I love his breeding.
No. Why did I decide to do this for yes at the exact same time when Andy decided to go do this for no? That's so weird.
I missed that, so I don't know I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, Diamond Rain. I mean, she won her first 2 races nicely enough. She looked a bit green winning at Newbury. but she did the job well. But she gave the impression that there was more in the tank and she was going to improve, as she had, with racing. Then she obviously ran pretty poorly, well, very poorly at Ascot, way too bad to be true. And she's been given 142 days off. So possibly something was amiss and it came to light and they've given her time. Why she's back for this, I don't know if they're taking her to Dubai. I have no idea what they're going to be doing with her. But if she's fit enough to do herself justice, which I imagine she will be, she should have a very good chance in this race. You would kind of, if she rocked up around 95% fit, you would be disappointed if she wasn't good enough to beat these horses, if she was going to go on and progress and be, a proper group horse. The ground is soft there as we speak, but there's no rain forecast. So obviously at this time of year, it doesn't dry out as much as it does during the summertime. So you're probably going to be looking at good to soft ground, which being by dancing rain shouldn't be a problem for her. And then one of the price is Treasure, who I thought should have won the last time, but Rob Hornby wasn't. Well, he gave him a normal Rob Hornby ride, pretty average at best. Should have won that day. Has a bit to find in the ratings, but I definitely think she's a horse that's going to progress. Obviously, we're coming to the end of the season now, so turf is finished soon enough. I don't imagine she'll be running anywhere else because I think she probably appreciate the dig in the ground. So while she might not win this race, I think she's a horse that could progress next year into maybe a listed horse, but at a price 10, 12, I don't know what she is with Jeff, I can't see it there.
8s.
Around 10 to 1. 8s, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if she ran a good race, but I'll go with Diamond Rain to win and Treasure to run into the place. That's what I'll go with there.
I'm with you with Diamond Rain. She was really impressive at Ascot on her debut. She was even better looking when she wins the listed race at Newbury. Beat a subsequent winner from the Roger Varian yard in that. She was a major flop at Royal Ascot. That was bitterly disappointing. You could see the writing was on the wall. She was drifting in the betting beforehand. She finished a stone last. William Buick was telling the stewards afterwards the filly stopped quickly. She must have got injured. I'm told she's working well, for what that's worth. And she's not going to lack for fitness being a Charlie Appleby filly in this. She's by Shamadal, so this trip is going to be much more suitable for her. She's already won over it. And yeah, I know that Danielle has been talked up by other people, and she was a good. People thought she was a good thing for the Champions Fillies and Mares race. Well, if she was really a good thing for that, I'd say Kalpana would want a word for one. And secondly, why is she 9-4 for this? Maybe it's a gift, but I thought she had every chance to beat Max Vega and couldn't. They're miles clear of everything else, and he did win that race a couple of years ago. But still, to me, she had every chance of winning it and just couldn't. And she was getting weight from him too. I'm with Diamond Rain for Buick. She's the least exposed runner in the field. And I think Peter's right. She'll head off to Meydan after this, but I'd be surprised if she doesn't take it en route. Andy, who are you with?
Well, I'm going to go against you boys. Yeah, I think I don't know. I know what you're saying about Diamond Rain, but I mean that run last time. I mean, just I don't know.
It was a shocker.
It was a shocker, and that's
but you rather them run like that than be beaten 6-7 lengths. You rather they run too bad to be true. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Than run a race and she was exposed as to her limitations. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, they've obviously given her plenty of time to recover as well. But I mean, Appleby form. I mean, are they? That would be a bit of a worry as well. I've only had 3 winners in the last 22, I think, when I looked. So that would be a bit of an issue. And then if the ground doesn't dry out, the softer ground is a bit of an unknown. Probably be all right on it. But look, there's with all those question marks thrown in. I mean, Danielle, I think I was gutted that it didn't run in the Ascot in the on Champions Day. I think it would have been a nice sort of each way play there. And yeah, last time it should have won really, shouldn't it? A couple of weeks ago at Newbury in the St Simon Stakes, had every chance. But I just think down in trip, down a couple of furlongs here, maybe just didn't quite see it out over the mile and a half there at Newbury. That was its first run for 3 months as well. So, factor that in. Gosden does well here with his 3-year-olds. So I think of the two, I'm going to stick with Danielle. I mean, it gets £3 off the Godolphin horse as well. And then, yeah, you're right. I think with Treasure, I mean, Beckett, he had, I think, 4 entries in this a couple of days ago. He's whittled it down to Treasure and Albany. So both of those, if you are looking for something at a bit of a bigger price, both around sort of 7s, 8s or whatever you said, maybe 9s. I can't remember what you said about Treasure. Both will like the ground if it stays on the soft side. Ralph Beckett just can't do anything wrong, can he, at the moment? His horse is just flying still. I think he's operating at a 35% strike rate at the moment.
Sensational.
Which is amazing.
What a season.
Unreal. And, well, Russell Ryan rides Albany. Hector Crouch is on Treasure. No issues there. I'll be amazed if one of those two doesn't nick a bit of place money at worst as well.
Yeah, I can see it. I can absolutely see it. I'm with Diamond Rain. The more damn it, Andy, the more you were talking about Danielle, the more I was like, oh, geez, maybe I've made a mistake here. She might just have bumped into one. He did win a handicap of 106 earlier in the season. It's not like Max Vegas a bad horse or anything like that. I keep looking back at that race and I keep thinking you should be going past. And maybe she just lacked for fitness. That was her first run since July. So second run off a layoff, she should improve. Yeah. She'll have the fitness edge. She'll handle conditions. Yeah, they're miles clear of the third. They are miles clear of the third.
El Assi, wasn't it? I think, which is not bad.
I'll put it this way. I think you're going to know. Yeah. You'll know market-wise. If there's no money for Diamond Rain, don't touch her. If there's nothing for her,
the market will tell a bit of a tale. Yeah,
they always do with those Godolphin horses. They always do. Sheikh Mohammed going up and down the lines with the little bags, getting stuck in, taking all Jeff Banks' money as much as he can. Right, the Virgin Bet November Handicap. By the way, if you haven't done it already, you can sign up to Jeff Banks Bet right now using the promo code FFP500. That will make you eligible to get up to £500 back after your first month of betting. Who else is doing that? Nobody's doing offers anymore. You can't even get a bet on anymore. Jeff Banks Bet. Jeff Banks Bet. Use the promo code FFP500.
No, hold on. You can get on, but you just don't get paid.
Yeah, go check out certain major corporate blue chip bookmakers and see what their max payout is. We had a big conversation with this beforehand. It's disgusting. Absolutely shocking. On the other hand, though, Jeff Banks Bet, FFP 500, you're eligible for 10% net losses back after your first month of betting up to £500. Tell them the Final Furlong podcast sent you by using the promo code FFP 500 and take some of Jeff Banks' money. We're going to provide you the winner of the Virgin Bet November Handicap over a mile 4, soft ground. I'm sure Andy will elaborate further on the draw stats, but I can't help but notice that for the last 10 runnings of this race, and I'm talking about at Doncaster, not last year in Newcastle, they're all coming out of double-figure stalls. There shouldn't be a draw bias, but it seems like quite a coincidence for this race. The betting is headed by Valvano. Oh, man, this horse did not do me any favours the other day, but then again, he was beaten by Bolster, who's gone on to win since. 101, Master Builder for David Manusier, 7th shot. Stress Free, 9s. Chillingham is a 12-1 shot. Lord Melbourne, also for Rafe Beckett, is also the same price at 12s. And Waxing Gibbous, horse I like a lot, has been cut from 18s to 16s, is now a 14-1 shot. Andy Newton, take it away for the November Handicap. Who do you like here? And where are the pointers telling us to go?
Well, the draw, like you say, it's a weird one because it's a mile and a half race at Donny, and you think, well, surely there's going to be no impact with the draw. But you're right. I mean, we go back even further than the last 10. I mean, 17 of the last 20 have been drawn 9 or higher. So, there is something there. But the bigger sort of trend, whatever that's built up, is that it's been a terrible race for the favourites. Absolutely shocking. I think there's only been 2 market leaders win this since 1996. On a plus, if you are siding with one of the fabs, then those 2 winning favourites have been in the last 10 years. So maybe it's flipping around, it's turning, I don't know. But it looks like Valvano and Master Builder are going to sort of fight out for the favourites berth. Stress Free's just in behind. Miller's Spirit, that's on a roll, isn't it, for Gary's team? But I don't know, the form of the yard is not 100% great, but that could be ahead of the handicapper still. It's been, that last race when it was in a bit of a who's travelling the best with Flash Bardo, and then they sort of, went for it and it came out on top, and it still looked like it had plenty at hand at the line, didn't it, Miller's Spirit? So that's an interesting one as well. But look, we had the Melbourne Cup in the week on Tuesday, didn't we? And there's a horse in here called Lord Melbourne. And I don't know, it's another Ralph Beckett horse. They're putting on an apprentice here, Jack Doughty, claiming 5.
Do it, Andy.
It just looks like, I mean, if you delve into its form, look, it came third.
Do it, Andy.
Time. Stress Free was second in that race. Okay. And unless my calculations are all skew-whiffy, I think it's £10 better off here with stress free. Got beaten by a couple of lengths, mate. Was it 2 lengths or 2 3/4 lengths or something? Stress free's 9-1. This one's a little bit bigger, 12s, 14s. We've already talked about the form of the Beckett camp. They're still flying. Look, it's drawn 8, right? So that sort of kiboshes my draw stat a little bit, but I'm not too worried about that. Look, they've put the claimer on for a reason here. All right, the ground will be fine. Stepping back up to a mile and a half, it looks exactly what he wants. It just looked a tad outpaced last time. I think it was at Leicester. So yeah, Lord Melbourne, and then look, the other one's going to throw into the mix as well is Waxing Gibbos. I just think that if you can ignore its last run, hey, what are you doing?
This is unbelievable. It's like you copied the notes. It's
really
amazing. Yeah.
Well, there we go. Look. Look, it was.
If you give a positive mention to Austrian Theory as the wild outsider as well, like it's just crazy.
No, that's going to come last. No, I haven't looked at that one, to be fair. But look, it came 5th in the big not so sleepy race that we landed the nap on. Just got run out of it that day at Newbury. But look, it's back down in trip here. It's down £1. It's another one with an apprentice book. Sean Bowen takes off 3. Drawn 15 is going to be absolutely perfect because of the draw stats we've talked about. It's lightly raced, only had 8 runs. So, yeah, we're going to go Waxing and Lord Melbourne, put them in a double, put them in a full cast. They're going to come home first and second, all right?
Reverse forecast. We are taking all of Jeff Banks' money this weekend. All of it. He's improved for the switch to Rafe Beckett. 2 wins over a mile, 4 and 5 starts, improving £10, proven on soft ground, shaped really well last time out. He's going to appreciate the step back up and trip. He's £3 higher than his last win off 87 2 starts back, but Jack has taken £5 off, and the stable are just winning everything. If Aidan O'Brien wasn't champion trainer of Britain, Rafe Beckett would be trainer of the season. No question. It's sensational stuff. And Waxing Gibbous, I'd ignore that run the last day. The fact that she was sent off favourite for it tells you how highly regarded she is. They were clear of everything at Haydock, along with Epic Poet. He deserved a big race win. It's a 5 lengths back to Dancing in Paris in 3rd place. There's a big race in her. There absolutely is. And Sean's taken £3 off. The 14-1 from the high draw. David Manusia's yard is in great form. I really like her too. And just for one at a massive price. Maybe I'm overreading this, but Austrian Theory was rated 104 as a 2-year-old, 3rd in a listed race on his first start as a 3-year-old in his classic year. Won a handicap of 94 that year as well. Won a handicap at Epsom on Oaks Day last year off 91. He's been running well for Tim Easterby. He's been kept very, very busy. He was really disappointing on his first start, but then he's had 10 runs. The furthest distance he's been beaten in those is just 5.5 lengths. He's won at the track. He's won on soft ground. His half-brother won over a mile 5, so he's going to improve for the step up to a mile 4, potentially. And you're getting a monstrously big price about him. 28-1, at least, for Tim Easterby's Austrian Theory, and he's well drawn, potentially, in stall 20. Thought he was interesting for forecast and tricast purposes, but for me, it's all about Lord Melbourne and Waxing Gibbous. Go on, Andy Newton, let's go. If Peter agrees with those horses, we're just going to wrap the podcast there and say they're the weekend naps. Go get stuck in. What do you reckon, Peter?
Obviously, it's a very open handicap, lads. You don't need me to tell you that. I definitely would respect the top of the market. Volvano, you have to respect.
Do you like our horses or not?
I'm getting there. Good things come to those who wait. So let me just make you wait a little bit longer. But look, yeah, you have to respect the top of the market. Miller Spirit is one I'd have on my short list, as well as Chillingham. But I think Miller Spirit possibly needs it a bit softer. Chillingham has been competing in some big handicaps and not running too bad. But the one I was going to tip, and it is the one I'm going to still go with, even though you guys do fancy him. So I don't like agreeing. So we like a bit of difference of opinion here, so the viewers can make up their minds. But Waxing Gibbous was the one I was going to put up on this.
Taking all Jeff Beck's money! Taking it all!
But hold on a second now, wait. I think they've been riding this horse wrong. I'd love to see them hold this horse up, or worst case scenario, mid-division. I don't think he's a horse that does a whole pile in front, and they've been riding him pretty prominent. And I don't think that suits him. That's not to say she can't win being ridden like that. She can win being ridden like that. But I think she's rated 85. I think going forward next year, she could develop into a mid-90s horse, possibly a listed horse. But I think if they ride her with a bit of patience, I think it could pay dividends on Saturday. If they go forward again, I'm not so sure how well it will work out. But I think she's a better horse if they take her time. They did that in Newbury when she won, and she came there swinging. And she doesn't do a whole pile in front, hence saying I don't think she's a horse that enjoys being ridden too prominent. So if they take their time with this horse, just let him get into a rhythm and try and come there 2 furlongs down and produce one run 2 furlongs out, or even maybe a little bit later. I can see him going close in this.
14-1. Max bet. The three of us can't be wrong. Surely.
It won't be that on Saturday.
We have been wrong before.
Yeah,
but we've also been right before.
Short.
And she's not going to be 14s. There's no way. Not after the final Furlong podcast army unload.
Well,
Jeff Banks,
she has a lovely racing weight as well.
Jeff Banks, bet, FFP 500. Even if she loses, you're getting 10% of your money back at the end of the month. But she's not going to lose. Come on! All right. I might be getting a little bit too excited about that. It's entirely possible I'm getting a little bit too excited about that, but I can't wait for that now. I love it when the three of us agree. That's magic. All right, we'll switch back to the jumps. We'll get to Wincanton. Boodles, Rising Star, Novices Chase, the Grade 2. We got Handstands as the 2-1 favourite. Insurrection, 11-4 for Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden. Solike on 130. Boom Bon for Dan and Harry Skelton, and 9-2 shots. So Paul Nicholls is going to be taking on Harry Derham in our next race. In this race, he's taking on Dan Skelton, 2 former assistant trainers. But who is going to be coming out on top in the Rising Stars Novices Chase? Peter Michael.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Paul Nicholls. I think his horses, as we all know, most of them have been needing their run first time out. I know he's had 1 or 2 winners first time out, like Rubad, what we're going to talk about later on. But the majority of them have been needing their run. So obviously, Insurrection is coming here with fitness advantage over Handstands. He's already ran over fences as well, so he's got the experience. Handstands obviously brings the better potential into the race, having won all his races bar last time out at Cheltenham. But we don't know what fitness level he's going to turn up at. You'd imagine these horses, a horse like him would be rocking up around 85-90% fit. And it's his fence, it's his first time over fences now. And saying that, he's only 5, so I presume, he must be a pretty good jumper for them to go straight away and not have another year over hurdles. Out of the others, you have to respect Boom Bon, but I'd be a little bit disappointed if he's good enough. I know he wasn't too far behind. Well, in fact, they finished the identical distance, according to the Racing Post, behind Springwell Bay last time out. I think it was just a short head between them. But if you look at the how far behind the winner, it's a length and a quarter for both of them. But I think, as I said, Nicholls' horses will improve more for their run than Skelton, whose horses are on fire. So yeah, I think it could be Insurrection's day on Saturday, but Handstand's probably the horse for the future out of the race.
What a week for Insurrection to be running, by the way. Just what a week for him to be in action. It's just priceless. Yeah. By the way, whatever your politics are, I don't really care. But just remember, the establishment media were completely rejected by the popular vote in America. That's all I'll say. That's it. The establishment media were completely rejected by the vast majority of the American people. So you can decide what you want from that. He wins. He's a point-to-point winner. So we already know he can jump a fence. We've already seen it. He's had a good chase debut. Nicholls' team, exactly as Peter said, were quiet at the time. John Joe's team were going quite well. I'm sure that's going to be a nice horse for John Joe too. The previous winners of this race, all 10, came in with previous chasing experience. Paul has won this race 4 times in the last 10 years. All of those horses have had previous chase experience. This guy's just going to... He'll win. He'll go out, he'll make all, and he'll win. Andy.
It's a clean sweep, boys. Insurrection. I can't stop laughing when I say the name, though, to be honest. But
it's just what a week for him to be in action. It's like hilarious.
I know. But look, let's just go through. Look, Glyn, 2 old, 10-year-old, be a bit of a shocker at Rocker if that's good enough. But you never know. Handstands, obviously a listed winner over hurdles, but chase debut, so a lot taking on trust with the jumping and all that business. So yeah, as you say, it might be the one, later in the season that turns out to be better than the Nichols horse. We'll find out. But as you say, Nichols' unreal record in this race. I mean, if you go back even further, I think he's won it about 7 times in the last 17. So, he likes targeting this one. Yes, the Skelton horse was closing at the line, and there will be a lot of people drawn to that. The Boom Born, but I had a look, and there's an interesting stat with the Skelton horses at Wincanton, which is strange considering he used to train with Nichols as his assistant and stuff, but he's only had 3 winners there, right, from his last 48.
What?
Skelton. Yeah. So look, overall the yard are in decent order, but look, their track form at Wincanton is not as you would expect for the Skelton team. So that would be a slight worry there. Insurrection, like we say, that was its first run over fences last time. So it goes without saying it's gonna come on for that. It's gonna learn a lot. So we know Nichols loves targeting this race. Harry's on it as well. So there's not what's the other one in there? Soul Icon. I mean, weirdly, that's the top rated in the race. I mean, £7 higher than Nichols' horse, but what was that, second in the plate over the summer, up £5 for that. But again, that's 0 from 7 over fences, so that would be the worry with Soul Icon. So sort of process of elimination really comes back to Nichols. He's going to win it for the 8th time in the last 18 years. Bang.
He's going to win the future champions chase. He's going to win the elite hurdle as well. He's got Rubond, who has been punted into odds on or cut to. I'm not really sure. It's Thursday after all. They're probably just realizing he's got a superior edge here. It's a grade 2. The elite hurdle, he won it last year. I think he'll win it again. 11 to 10 on. He's race fit. And of course, he bolted up on his seasonal debut. He is taking on Harry Derham's horse, Brentford Hope. And Harry Derham is an unreal trainer who's got off to a great start. 2 to 1 shot. However, Daddy Longlegs didn't exactly advertise the form in Down Royal last week. Henry de Bromhead is sending over Aspire Tower. It's been a good time of things for him and a very good time of things for Darragh O'Keefe. A 7 to 1 shot as we record. And Forever William is the horse who will not be adding to Dan Skelton's poor record at this track. He's a 66 to 1 shot and he's there for a nice day out for the owners. Peter, Michael, how far does Rhubarb win by?
Well, I had to laugh when I was going through this race because 2 years ago, Brentford Hope was my banker for Christmas, and he was running off 113. And anyone that asked me, and Stephen say what your banker was for the Christmas festival, he was my banker, and somehow he managed to get beaten off 113. And now I think he's 40. What's he now? 148 or something. Yeah. So that still hurts. But and the winner, I don't think has done much after that since. But since then, he's left Richard Hughes and gone to Harry Durham, which was a bit strange for the Mulrynes to sell a horse with that. I like he was a very good horse in the flat. I think rated 104 or something like that in the flat. And his 3 qualifying runs for a mark. No, he had 2 qualifying runs for a mark. Sorry, they were very. If you go and watch them, I mean, he has ridden behind Rhubarb before, and he's beaten 7 lengths, but they were very kind runs to say the least. And he wasn't given a hard time at all to get his handicap mark, hence why I really fancied them. But so both of them have clashed before. Rhubarb beat him by 7 lengths, but as I said, it was a very easy ride Brentford Hope got that day. My notes here say the betting is going to tell a tale for Brentford Hope. If he's strong in the betting, I'd be going for him. I think he's a better horse than Rhubarb going forward. I'm pretty sure of it, in fact, that he'll be a better horse than Rhubarb going forward. But on the day, Rhubarb has the fitness advantage. I don't know how fit Brentford Hope is going to rock up, so I'm going to keep an eye on the betting for that one. If money comes for Brentford Hope, he'd be the one I'd be backing. If he's weak, then obviously Rhubarb's a horse to beat. Aspire Tower, obviously he's not the same horse. He's always been in Henry since he started hurdling, but my horse Jason the Militant was with Henry the same time Aspire Tower was, and they actually ran against each other in a hurdle race in Down Royal that what was it called? I forget what the WKD hurdle. Yeah, Aspire Tower won that one, but then he suffered, must have been a pretty bad injury because he was off 2.5, nearly 3 years off the track, and he hasn't been the same horse since. So I couldn't as much as I'm a fan of Dara O'Keefe, I think he's absolutely brilliant.
It's class.
Yeah, look, if Aspire Tower somehow comes back to the horse he was before his injury, then he'd eat these alive. But I don't think he's the same horse as he was. So I'd have to let the betting guide me with this one, unfortunately, because I think Brentford Hope is the better horse of the two. But it could be Rubad's day if the betting says so.
Anytime Richard Hughes gets mentioned, immediately my mind just goes to his rant on X. The owner got the 12s. Yeah. He got the 12s. Maybe not that day with Brentford Hope, though. Andy, who do you like?
Well, look, first of all, it's shocking, really. There's only 3 runners in this, isn't there? I mean, God, if Henry didn't send Aspire Tower over, I mean, it'd be...
That's crazy. It's depressing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just like, but look, I mean, realistically, it's probably going to go to last year's winner. I mean, of the 2 at the head of the market, I mean, I'm actually sort of quite surprised that they're not that far apart in the betting. You know, I know Brentford Hope gets £6, and I suppose that's probably why they are a little bit closer than they should be. But you know, Rhubarb, the Nichols Cam obviously won this last year with the horse. They've won the last 2 as well. He won at Kempton very well, didn't it? And that was in that sort of period where everyone was going, "Oh, Nichols horses are not running well. They need to run," and all that rubbish. So. You know, it did well to come out there and take this, and it's following exactly the same path, isn't it? If you know, in terms of its sort of campaign from last year, same prep, same races, and so on. So you can just see it going in again. And you know, look, realistically, like Peter said, I mean, if Henry's horse comes over and you know finds its old form, then yeah, I mean, it's rated 148, gets £6 off the Nichols horse as well. Did you know very well at Punchestown last time. I mean, don't forget Pied Piper was in behind that day, wasn't it? I mean, I know he was well beaten as well when it fell. But it's just the old bounce factor scenario again, isn't it? That win came off 225 days, and you know it was a bit further, so they might boot it out in front and see if they can just sort of run the finish out of the other 2. But you just sort of think that Rhubard's going to have a bit too much pace, really, and just sort of pick it off at the end. So more of the same from last year, I think, really.
I don't think Aspire Tower is the same horse. I do expect he'll improve from his first run of the season. I wouldn't be so concerned about a bounce factor with him. Then again, I can't tell you that's not going to happen. And it's interesting that Henry sends him over. But if he's fit, I think you have to run him because you missed so much time with him. And when Paul Nicholls' assistant trainer was asked for a horse to follow this season, he said, "I've got a novice chaser for you. Rhubarb is going to be brilliant over fences, and we can't wait to see him in action." So why is he still over hurdles? Because they think he's going to mop up these races. That's why. And don't be surprised if you then see him popping a fence before Christmas. He'll win. He'll win. But
well, it depends on the fitness of Brentford Hope. I mean, Brentford Hope is rated a pound higher than him, and he's getting £6. I don't know how you lads can be so confident.
Yeah, he is, but Rhubarb will win. Go on, our boy Nicholls! We never doubted you, Nicholls!
Brentford Hope needs a run. Maybe you have that information. That'd be nice to have.
You might say that. I couldn't possibly comment. Right, the Badger Beer Handicap Chase. Apologies. If we're going to get ourselves some free Badger Beer, and if you send it to me, I promise to send it to Andy and to Peter. We'll drink it on air and we'll happily promote it like the shills we are. The 63rd Badger Beer Handicap Chase over 3 miles and 1. The betting, as we're recording, is 7-2 with Jeff Banks bet about Lord Accord even. 130 about the Changing Man. Mufasa, 5s. Lord Bradsley, a 9-1 shot. And our old friend Remastered, 10-1. Peter Michael, who is going to be taking out our final race of the afternoon, the Badger Beer Handicap Chase. 63rd Badger Beer Handicap Chase.
Well, to be honest, I didn't really look at this race much, so I won't say much on it.
Goodness.
Terrible, I know. I'll give myself a little slap when we're finished.
Hang on. There used to be a pundit on this show, and what he would do is he would say, "Oh, go to Rory first, and then I'll sweep up afterwards." So let's go to Andy, and then you can sweep up after him and claim that the work that Andy has done is yours.
Yeah, I'll take some notes, Andy. Go on.
Well, look, the first thing you can say, Peter, this is a very bad renewal, isn't it? I mean, God, geez, so based on that, you could probably see anything winning this, and that includes even the big breakaway at the bottom, who's 25 to 1.
Hold on now.
Hey?
Let's not go completely insane.
Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, admittedly, that would be a little bit crazy. But, I mean, God, the horse hasn't won for, I don't know, about 4 years or something stupid, isn't it? But obviously very well handicapped. But look, let's go back to the head of the market. Look, the Changing Man is probably going to be the favourite, and you can see why. It's a strong travelling sort. Joe Tizard trains, but it is 0 from 5 over fences. You know, that's not the sort of stats you want to be taking into the Badger Beer for me. Just sort of doesn't really find a lot, I don't think, off the bridle. It's had a wind dot. They're putting the tongue tie on as well. It's coming back from the layoff, so I can't really see that. I mean, look, it split Stay Away Faye and Grey Dawn in Exeter last year, about this time last November. It came second. It was sandwiched in between those two. So that's probably, the best form. It's 100% the best form on show here. Lord of Called comes here, a couple of ones next to its name. People are going to look at that, up £5, but absolutely shocking jumping last time. If you watch that race back, I mean, it just about got away with not falling about 3 times in that race. So Lord of Called, not for me. Everyone's going to latch onto the Nichols thing. Mofasa, Lion King, named after the Lion King guy. But yeah, Nichols, he's won 8 of the last 21 runs of this. But again, very short in the betting, 9 to 2. Yeah, gets in here with 10 stone 4. But I don't know, just it comes here off a layoff as well. And I don't know. I'm going further and further down the market here. And the one I'm landing on is Forward Plan, and I for the life of me, I don't know why.
That's what I was going to say as well.
Oh, come on!
I'm not just copying you. He's in my tracker.
Hasn't won for 2 starts at the track, but he's won 5 times on flat tracks. He's won right-handed. Tendency to hit the odd fence is a bit of a worry, but he's won off a layoff before. He's a 4-time chase winner, won twice on good ground, won over this trip, 3rd highest on time form and 3rd highest on top speed. If Remastered doesn't hold his form after his comeback, he'll win. That's the note I have.
Hang on, who are you with? Remastered?
I'm with Forward Plan. I reluctantly against Remastered. As long as David Pipe said the other day, they almost retired Remastered, but he's working so well. He's been working as well as he ever has for the last 5 years. And he comes out and wins, but he's never backed up this quickly to go and win. Now, he might just go and win this, but Forward Plan was the one that was the standout horse for me. This is just insane.
100%.
Like our brains have all synced up.
A podcast like this, yeah.
If you want an age stat, right? Look, 20 of the last 21. So almost all of the winners of this race in the last 21 years have been aged 9 or younger. So look, Our Dancer and Remastered, 2 11-year-olds in there. I think is that the only 2 that are older than 9. So yeah, look, let's put a line through those. But yeah, like you say, Forward Plan. The Honeyball camp are doing all right. They're going a few winners at the moment. I think they had. Again, well, they've got 3 in this as well, haven't they? I think they had even more entered earlier in the week. So, look, Forward Plan. He was 6 in the race last year. He was up there, looked back 2 or 3 to jump, and just sort of didn't quite get home. But look, I think the horse has definitely improved since that run last season. Obviously, won the old Racing Post Chase, didn't it, at Kempton, with a flying finish, come from the clouds, didn't it? So, jockey gets on all right with it, and I'll be amazed if this horse is 10 to 1 come Saturday. It'll be single figures, all right? I'm calling it now. It won't be 10 to 1. All right, it looks a great each way bet for me.
This is so. Peter, do you want to do your little bit of sweep up there and just add in?
Yeah, well, I was going to put up Forward Plan because I have him on my tracker. He's a horse I'm looking forward to seeing this season. But again, as I always say, we don't know what level of fitness are going to turn up. Of course, it's a big enough handicap, so you'd imagine he's going to be at least 90% fit. And he's gone well enough before, fresh. I don't have any firm opinions, but if I was going to put one forward, it would also be Forward Plan, but I wouldn't fancy him as much as you guys would.
I mean, it's only finished out the top 3 once from 10 runs over fences. All right, so it's had 4 wins, 3 seconds, and a couple of bronzes. So in terms of each way plays here, I mean, it just looks like a great bet to me.
Best bets for the weekend. Naps and next
Sounds like
bests. Naps and next best. Peter Michael.
Okay, I'm going to put up each way Coast Guard Station because I don't think he'll be out of the tree. And I think as a nap, I think the race will fall into his lap. I just hope, he gets off the bridle and goes on to win it, which he's done before many times. Next best, Waxing Gibbous. If they ride him with a bit more restraint, hopefully.
Andy Newton.
Yeah, look, Waxing's got to be up there. Forward plan was up there as well. But look, I'm Lord Melbourne each way. I think in the November handicap, as we said, Beckett's in flying form, £10 better off with stress free. Got a nice weight, and just because I want to say Insurrection again, we're going to go with that as the nap as well. The main nap, the other one, the next best. Over at Wincanton, we know Nichols loves this race, and I'm sure he's going to go close to winning it with Insurrection. What is your nap, Emmet? Come on.
I'm doing the ticket. I'm doing the scumbag each way, Lucky 31. Coast Guard Station, Waxing Gibbous / Lord Melbourne, Dancing Rain, I hope I'm right about that, Insurrection, and Forward Plan. Let's go! That's it. We're out.
What's the maximum payout, though?
Well, with Jeff, it's fair, but be careful. If you're still foolish enough to be betting with Betfair, just be very, very careful. Right, we're out. From Peter Michael, Andy Newton, and me, Emmet Kennedy. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the racing. We'll talk to you again very, very soon on the Final Furlong podcast. Look after yourself and each other. God bless.
The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Get up to £500 refunded as real money for new Jeff Banks online accounts after your first month of betting. Use promo code FFP500 at jeffbanks.bet and buy BetterHelp. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Our listeners get 10% off your first month. So give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/FURLONG.